Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the gener8tor Founder Series Spotlight. I am Troy Vossler, co-founder of gener8tor, and today I am joined by Rich Sloan, co-founder and CEO of WAVR. Welcome, Rich, and thanks for joining us.
I am psyched to be on your podcast, and I have so loved, my collaboration with you specifically, and broadly with the gener8tor team. It's been amazing.
I love it. Love to hear it. Well, let's kick things off. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey and the genesis story behind WAVR. Obviously, there's a ton of history with the UNLV relationship and the entrepreneur in residence angle. I'd love to hear about all that. So maybe starting with yourself and then into the technology and the company itself.
The first thing I want to say is I have a surfing theme on my hat. I do not know how to surf. I just love the hat.
It's a,
Uh,
it's a good
I
hat.
I am originally from Michigan, which is, the abundance, the definition of the abundance of fresh water. Specifically, though, I'm from Flint, Michigan. So that town has its own water story. And I started as an inventor in my late teens, developed an electromechanical device, then started helping other inventors, then started doing tech transfer out of universities. Did a small seed stage venture fund in the flyover area of Detroit, Michigan, and realized that the venture capital game is a lot of having to say no, and then started something called Startup Nation, which shifted the currency to knowledge and inspiration and got literally millions of people on their path to pursuing their entrepreneurial dreams. So I'm all about this stuff. And eventually, via the Bay Area, I found my way to Las Vegas and quickly became associated with the university community. That's just my jam. I love I'm not an engineer by background, but I just love being around people who have mastery in these technical areas. And UNLV asked me to help them set up an entrepreneur in residence program. And so within the first few weeks of doing that role, I happened upon who today is my set of co-founders, um, Jeremy Cho, Iwe Gao, and brilliant people thinking about the biggest challenge confronting us as citizens here in Las Vegas, and that's water. If you went up to anyone in Las Vegas and you said, when you think about the future of Las Vegas, what worries you? No question, it's that five-letter word. So I was really excited by what I learned from Jeremy and Iwe, and I was really impressed by their ability to communicate and convey the legitimacy and credibility of the research that and the approach that they've taken to this challenge. And if I can share with you, I'll tell you like the really cool inspiration for the technology at the heart of WAVR technologies. Is
Yeah,
that next
please.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so cool. This is the stuff of science fiction for many people. Atmospheric water harvesting is the niche, and it's part of the science fiction of Star Wars, the planet Tatooine, or it's a theme in the movie Dune. Like you could just go across science fiction. Water is this thing. Um, and atmospheric water harvesting was actually the economy or the basis of the economy on Tatooine and Star Wars. So I'm sitting there, learning from these researchers talking about this stuff that I thought was only science fiction. And lo and behold, there's a little animal right here on Earth that has perfected this ability. So Australian tree frogs, the my co-founders observed, um, are able to basically drink from the air. They have a salty body, and they develop a very special skin membrane that it's like reverse cortex. So it allows water to come from the outside in, from the air. So those vapor molecules of water come in through the skin into their salty body. And this is how they drink during drought season. So we have a product architecture that basically simulates that same process that the frog uses. We have a special membrane that has just the right pore size for water vapor molecule to flow through. And we have a hypersaline solution constantly flowing beneath the membrane surface. and that is just passively capturing water vapor from the ambient. That flows to a thermal process on the back end. We steam off the pure water, and our customers have a new autonomous, decentralized source of pure water. This is not just a benchtop kind of scale. This is something we're going to do at industrial scale. A machine will make 10,000 gallons of water per day, even in the most arid climates like Las Vegas, effective down to 10% relative humidity. So that's a game changer for a data center, for example, that is struggling to get it right as it relates to its water footprint, or a chip fabrication plant, even pharmaceutical production. And so we've been really lucky to get a strong, not lucky, but really fortunate to get a strong response from industry. We've booked just under $1 million of revenue in the first year of having our commercial lab set up. So that's been a pretty unusual, pretty exceptional achievement for a startup. We've been really proud of that. And we're starting to ship our first pilot units. And as they go out the door progressively over the year ahead, they'll be of bigger and bigger scale. And we hope to truly move the needle on what is a existential challenge for our community here, but also right here from ground zero of water stress, we see what's coming for many communities around the world and industries that are seeking resilience, seeking to future proof their operations. So we think we can play a really big role in that.
I love it. It's such a cool story, especially with that. You said it's Australian tree frog?
Yes.
Nice. What, in case people miss it, so this was technology, and your co-founders were PIs or professors or researchers at UNLV?
A professor
Professor?
and his first PhD student are
Nice.
now my co-founders.
So they had developed this technology on campus at UNLV. You joined as an entrepreneur in residence with the university, specifically the tech transfer function, looking for technologies that, had good potential to be commercialized, and that's how you married up. Is that accurate?
That is, and UNLV is very entrepreneurial. They want to address problems in the world with the great work happening inside the schools. So they strongly encouraged me to spin out and totally focus on that. So I am a co-founder of WAVR alongside Jeremy and Eway.
I love it. Well, shout out to UNLV, Zach Miles, the whole gang there. Generator is also a fortunate partner with UNLV and their Blackfire Innovation Space and our Electrify Nevada Accelerator. So
Listen to
uh,
you.
we're,
You
we're
sound like a
proud partners.
Nevadan.
We're proud partners. You touched on this a little bit, Rich, but just tell us the current status of the company. Whether that's traction or customers or fundraising, like however you want to define that. What's the current status of the company?
We're raising a $4 million seed round right now. We've closed and committed half of that so far, and have a bunch of VCs in our data room right now. So getting to the mature stages of the round. That's good. We've generated over 950K in that first year revenue that I mentioned in booked revenue. And then we have scaled our technology by 2 orders of magnitude since I've been involved with these guys, and that's exciting. We have 2 more orders of magnitude to go. So got more scaling, de-risking to do. We've put together a team of 4 full-time people, 2 part-time people, and with proceeds from this round, we'll bring in another 5 to 6 people. A significant part of that is technical capability, and a minority of that is commercial capability. Um, I'm really excited about the facility that we've set up here. We bring people into town from literally all over the world, and they walk out of our commercial lab saying, that is the leading atmospheric water harvesting technology in the world. And
That's
that's
awesome.
really cool.
That's awesome. You need to get like a cameo in the next Star Wars movie somehow.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, maybe one of our devices,
Yeah.
can be, it could like have a really cool, like when you press the button, it can make, like that door
Oh
opening sound or
yeah, that'd be
something.
awesome. I love that. Um, all right, so you're based in Las Vegas. Why Las Vegas or why Nevada? What makes that a great place to be a founder, to be an entrepreneur?
Um, it's interesting. This venture, I'm going to speak from the lens of WAVR specifically.
Yeah.
This venture has, it feels like, been adopted by Las Vegas, adopted by Nevada. Maybe it's because we're focused on the big problem. Um, Maybe it's because we have great people involved. We have a new venture capital fund in Las Vegas that is backing our company, and a state-based venture capital fund that matched the regional venture fund 1-to-1. So Desert Forge Ventures, Battleborn Ventures, and we have the beginnings of a great seed round well underway. Um, so it has just felt every step of the way, Troy, like the community wants us to win. They really want us to succeed. And that's a damn good feeling as an entrepreneur because it's hard growing these businesses as a founder. Just there's so much headwind and so many challenges to overcome. And it's great when everyone around you, the funding community, the media, the talent, the infrastructure in the community, like the facility where we have based our commercial lab. Um, it's um, it's been a recipe for success, frankly. Puts a lot of pressure on us because it's ours to lose, it's ours to fail. There's like everything is lined up right for our startup.
I love it. I like the notion of like the city's really adopted you and shine a bright light on it, which is important. And you highlighted two things. So obviously Desert Forge Ventures with Len and just the shot in the arm that regional fund is going to have for the region. And then GoEd and their Battleborn Ventures and the great work that Karsten and Kyle and Melissa and everyone over there is doing. So I think it's a really special relationship, and especially that matching funding is a great lever to have.
Very much so. GoEd, for those not in the acronym world, is Governor's Office of Economic Development here in Nevada. By the way, I see that G on your hat. How does a portfolio founder get awesome?
This is a one of one, Rich. So it's
What?
actually a hat of our. Obviously the generator logo, but the hat itself is from one of our portfolio companies, Swannies, which makes golf apparel. So, but I hear you. We should make a run of them for our alumni as well.
Yeah,
So
for
stay tuned.
sure. Proudly wear that at my next podcast.
Yeah. So maybe some founder questions. In your role now as co-founder of WAVR, what was the biggest challenge you faced as a founder, and how did you overcome it?
Um, it's interesting. I am not an engineer. I'm not from the water world. Um, I uh, you might argue I might not be the right guy to be the founder of a business like this. Um, and I will say one other thing. Jeremy and Iwe are brilliant co-founders, and my lens on the world is entirely commercial, and their lens on the world when I became acquainted with them was entirely research, engineering, and science related. The job of bringing us together with a unified vision so we can talk the same language, think the same way about how to move from A to B, how to grow, operate a business. Um, that required like accelerated transfer of knowledge back and forth from them to me so that I can be a robust spokesperson for this business and strategist for this business, and from me to them so that they can appreciate what it means to do commercial engineering, what it means to satisfy customers completely separate from a grant research project kind of context. So I would say there was a lot of challenge there. And because there was so much commitment to a shared vision, we very effectively powered our way through that. And we're a really well-oiled machine now. I feel like super confident in my co-founders. I
Nice.
feel super confident in my role that they helped groom me to understand technically. So,
I like that marriage between the commercial and entrepreneurship side versus the academic and research side. That makes sense. What's one thing you wish you learned sooner as a founder?
as a founder of this business,
Yeah.
um, I know we've been having other conversations and I'll refer to those. So, customer discovery is you want it to be like a super efficient and fast and illuminating, conclusive process. Water being universal, need for water being so shared across so many industries and use cases, it has been challenging to really dial in the go to market for this business. So the customer discovery process wasn't immediately conclusive, but with a little more time as a graduate of gener8tor, I hoped actually to dial this in during the accelerator, but I don't think I really got there. In the 6 months following the accelerator, which is about where I am now, I feel like I really understand that. So um, hopefully that
Good.
answers the question.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So now you went through our gener8tor Great Lakes Innovation Accelerator. So it's a water tech focused program. It's a partnership that gener8tor has with NOAA. And as the name suggests, we focus on the Great Lakes. It's headquartered out of Chicago, but anything water tech related, in particular freshwater. Um, but tell us more about your gener8tor experience and perhaps how did the accelerator help you the most?
Yeah, first of all, I worked intensively with Soham and Daisy,
Yeah.
both very instrumental in organizing and running that accelerator, and to a lesser degree, but also very constructively with your colleague Ryan.
Yeah.
So I can't say nice enough things or respectful enough things about all three of them. They were all amazing to work with. Um, the mix for me that was exciting was this idea that I could be with entrepreneurs who are feeling the same pain, experiencing the same challenges, and talk the same water language as I do. Obviously, different perspectives, different solutions, um, and business plans, but just a lot in common. So that felt great. I wasn't alone out there. Um, the second thing is there were sessions that we were immersed into where we had to refine and hone and optimize how we communicate our value, our pitch. And I did that together with my fellow cohort members. And I've got some gray in my beard, Troy. I feel like I've been around the block and I know everything, and clearly I did not. And I got so much better at being able to convey what we're doing through those kinds of sessions. It was awesome, humbling, and awesome.
Nice.
So that was great. Um, and then the other aspect that I found a lot of value in as I went through the accelerator was also a burden. Like it crowded out my ability to do other stuff, but there was so much gold in it; it was worthwhile. And that was the mentor swarms, these blocks of time that were set up where it was just 15 minutes with a mentor, one right after the other, just like maybe hitting the same question over and over with people from different perspectives and areas of expertise, or sharpshooting different areas of interest with mentors from those different areas of expertise.
Yeah.
So
I'm a
just a lot
big
of access and value that was
It's funny, a
wonderful.
little bit of the history of the mentor swarm. So we would do our best, me, Joe, and Abby, who was our first program manager. We would huddle together. We'd look at the 5 companies we had in the cohort and we'd say, ooh, like this mentor we think would be really good for company A and this mentor for company B. But what we missed out on, I think, through that process was the information we didn't know, meaning maybe mentor number one's sister is the perfect person to talk to company B, right? And so we switched to what now has become the mentor swarm process, where we basically take all the relevant mentors and have them do that, call it speed dating, speed networking, 15-minute increments with each company. And the hope really is to float out positive serendipitous outcomes, like you mentioned.
And what ended up happening for me is that those little 15-minute blitzes turned into scheduled 1 hour meetings with those same people where we could deep dive, where we found some real nectar together. So
Yeah.
it was definitely valuable.
Nice. Well, that's a good segue into my next question is, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs and founders that are considering an accelerator program?
Um, Everyone says this. I'm going to say it too. These accelerators are entirely what you make of them.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, what do I want, or what do I need? And you have to hatch an active like war plan on how you're going to pull that value out of an accelerator. Certainly, if the accelerator has a certain thesis or theme that plays to where your needs are, lean in on those versus others. Um, uh, I would also say, think about the accelerator, not just in terms of that active 3 month or 6 month period of time, whatever the program is, but think of it in terms of you being part of an alumni group, where you have much increased access. You have a lot in common because of common experience and common network. Um, and that network becomes very valuable to you over time, those relationships. So
I agree. And
yeah,
then
and
continue to
and
communicate. Yeah, I mean, just speaking for myself, like I'm reminded, founders send updates on a regular basis. Well, that, not necessarily every time am I responding to those, but, where applicable, or maybe it's, hey, I just met someone at Acme Incorporated that I would love to forward, your latest update to them and see if they'll take an intro. So I think communication is key to getting the most out of it as well.
I love that. And I'll just say one other thing. Of course, we at a startup company are trying to be credible and legit and to have our own gravity. Um, but it's really hard to open doors.
Yeah,
And one of the great value props of, for example, my experience with gener8tor has been support in opening doors, because you guys are credible. You are proven. You've made introductions to these same people in the past that have been valued by them. So that door flies open for you. Um, that's really, really special. If you want to accelerate your business, one of the best ways you can do that is by getting early customer dialogue, for example.
yeah.
And gener8tor has been amazing in facilitating that kind of early dialogue for us. That's accelerating our path to market. That's amazing.
I love it. I appreciate it. And definitely, I want to make sure to give a shout out to Soham and Daisy and Ryan from our sustainability team, and specifically that Great Lakes Innovation Accelerator, sponsored by NOAA. All right, Rich, my last question. I asked this to each entrepreneur, but if you had one ask for this audience, people watching this interview, maybe it's an introduction, an investor, just advice, a customer, what would your ask be?
Yeah, I would, it's for me, it's on the customer front for sure. Um, I want to prove with actual paid pilot installations, I want to prove our value to our customers. So if anyone knows of companies in the data center, chip fab spaces, especially, it goes way beyond that, but especially in those spaces, I'd be happy to have dialogue with them to help them address their water objectives.
I love it. Well, thank you, Rich. We're going to include a link to Waiver in the description below here. Make sure to check it out. And again, to Rich's ask, if you have any connections with data centers or chip fabs or anything kind of in that ecosystem, please make sure to reach out to Rich or post a comment so we can connect you. So once again, just Rich Sloan, co-founder and CEO of Waiver. Congratulations on your success and thank you for being a proud Generator alum. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.